Hello, my name is Isaac and I'm part of Rapyd's sales engineering team. Today I will be showing you how to integrate the Rapyd Checkout Toolkit into your e-commerce shopping cart. The Rapyd Checkout Toolkit is an iframe that you can embed directly into your website to accept payments from your customers. With Toolkit, your customers are not redirected to a different page and stay on your website throughout the checkout flow. The Toolkit payment fields are to validate payment information, showing errors in real time. Plus, you can customize the payment fields, text, error messages, and the payment button, giving you more control over the design and experience of your entire checkout process. During today's demonstration, I will cover where to find the information you need in our documentation, where to find the Toolkit code, where on your website you should add this Toolkit code, how you can customize Toolkit to match your brand, and finally we'll run through a test transaction. So let me show you real quick a demonstration of what we're gonna actually design. This is a website that I created, and this is just the step in which the customer is about to buy this bike. So I will click here in the Buy Now button, and this is the page that we will create, and we will embed here Rapyd's checkout toolkit, which is this form that I'm showing here, where basically the customer can fill the information, and then click the Pay Now button, and then Rapyd will process the order and the payment, and you will be able to show some information here. Okay, so let me start by showing the documentation. So you go to rapyd.net, and then here in the developer section you can go to the checkout guide. So here you will see all the documentation about the checkout tools that we have in Rapyd, and you have two options actually. You can have a hosted checkout page in which your customers are actually redirected to a different checkout page where they will complete the payment, or the checkout toolkit integration, which is what we're going to see today, and how to integrate this toolkit into our own website so that the customer stays in our website. So I recommend you to go through this hosted checkout page video and documentation. It's a very good demonstration how to do that. But today we're gonna start with the checkout toolkit, and here you will have to do complete two steps. First is to create actually the checkout page, and your application will have to create the checkout page before we can use it, right? So whenever you have ready the amounts that you're going to charge, the currencies and the payment methods, all those details, you create, or your application creates a checkout page, and then we will use the checkout page ID to then integrate the iframe. So that step I'm going to do it manually using Postman. And then the second step will be to actually insert this JavaScript into our website. Okay, so this is where you complete the information. You can follow the information. You can copy this code in your website, which is what we're gonna do. But down below you have more information about the specific fields, and also the translations that you can have different. You can use different languages. And also the CSS that you can use in order to customize the look and feel of your checkout experience. So let's jump into the code already, and here I have a very small website, which this first page is the product, the page that shows actually the product with the Pay Now button. And the second one is the checkout page, where we are going to insert our code for the checkout experience. So it's a very simple web page. I just have a navigation bar, and then I have a main area where the first section will be just a section to display some feedback to the customer. So once the JavaScript returns the information after completing the payment or after the payment failed, we will show some information to the customer here in this feedback section. And then I have a section where I will actually insert the iframe, and this section has a div with an ID Rapyd checkout, and this is this is actually where the iframe will insert the form. Okay, so and that's it pretty much. Then I have a footer for the website or for the web page. So this is where we are inserting the iframe. So let me delete this and we will start over. Okay, so the first thing we have to do is, as I said before, we have to create a checkout page, and your application should do that before we can actually use the checkout page. If you haven't done it, you can go check how to create that. This first link, hosted checkout page, has a very good video about how how you can do that with your application. And also we have some other videos on how to create your first API request, so make sure to check those. So for now, I'm just gonna manually create a checkout page. This is the first step that we have to do, right? So my bike sells for $750. So I'm gonna create a checkout page just passing this amount, the currency, those are the important fields, and the payment method, which is MasterCard in this case for this example. And I'm also passing a sales order number just to let the customer know what is his order or what's the reference for this order. So I'm gonna just send the request, and I will have here down below a response, and this is the checkout ID that we will need to insert in the code. Okay, so that was the first step. Let's go back to the documentation, check out Toolkit integration, and let's just grab the code that we have here. We have an example here of a small website, and I'm just gonna grab this JavaScript and I'm gonna paste it here where we had it. This is not necessary. Okay, so let's start with this. Then this is where we will basically need to insert our checkout ID. So let me go to Postman and grab it from here. Okay, so basically what we're doing here is we are inserting this JavaScript that says that when the window loads or when the page loads, it will create a Rapyd checkout toolkit object, and we're gonna pass some parameters, and these parameters are the pay button text, some color for the button. The most important thing is the actual ID of the checkout page, and we are gonna say display this checkout page, right? So after that, we will be able to listen for some events, which is the on checkout payment success, which means if the payment was successful or at least started to be processed by the payment acquirer, then we can display something here, or we can do some action here. Or if the payment failed, well, we can also do some action here. Something very important is to fix this URL, because in this case I am using the sandbox, I'm not using production. So the URL for the sandbox is here, and I just have to complete sandbox checkout toolkit. So let me replace that. Okay, so that's it. Let me go to the website to see if it works. Okay, it works now. We have here our checkout experience, but I do want to replace or customize a little bit this button here. So let me do that. We can replace this text now. Also, we want a different color here because this color doesn't really match our design. So let me replace that color and let me put some other color that I had ready here. So 4B, B, 4, 2. Okay. So now we have a different color and different text, but now the text looks is in black, so I want to customize a little bit more. And to do that, we do have the option to to send some information about the CSS styles, as I said before, and documentation here. You have all the list of things. You have a list of all the things that you can customize. But for now, what we need to do is we need to pass some other object here, which is the style object, and I'm gonna pass for the submit button. I'm gonna pass the color. I'm just gonna change it to white. Okay, so let's check that. And now the button is white. I mean the text is white. So basically that's it. As you can see, it was very easy. Just inserting the JavaScript code, then customize a little bit to show them from the look and feel that you want to have. And then we will catch the errors, and for that let's try to do that. Also, I have here prepared a feedback function, JavaScript feedback function, in which I will just show some other information to the customer. So let me complete that feedback, and I was passing the event just like that. And then the feedback function is just displaying some information in the HTML tags, so nothing fancy. Okay, so finally there was another event in the that we need here that was not in the example. So let me complete that. I'm gonna add another event. Event listener, and the event is called on checkout payments failure. And I'm passing the event. And again, I'm just gonna log to the console so that we can see what's going on. This is catching an error, and again, just show some feedback to the customer. Okay, so let's try. It still works. So let me go back here, and the customer goes pay now. And as we were saying, this this is validated already. So if I try to pay, Rapyd will validate this. We don't have to develop any kind of validation. Rapyd will do these validations even for wrong information, right? So your card number is not valid, and we have all the errors here, all the feedback for the customer. But for now, let me complete the information, and you know what? Before doing that, let's open this console here so that we see what's going on, right? So that's another very cool feature of this checkout experience, is that it is also mobile friendly. So the form or the iframe will adapt to the size of the screen that your user is using. So okay, let's keep going. I'm gonna refill the information again. So I'm gonna try to pay here. Okay, we have our success page, but something really important that I wanted to show you here is that here we can see what was the response that Rapyd sent us. And something important is that, for instance, I like to see the status of this payment, which is closed. So our system knows that our payment, the payment was successful and it's closed. There's nothing else we have to do but process the order. You can see here in the metadata section here that the sales order is sent back to our website, so I can show the customer what the sales order reference is, so that he has some document or some reference to talk to you in case they need to. And that's pretty much it. You can use this information as you want or as you need. So that's very useful. So just for a failure, I'm just gonna try to buy now again, and since I'm not creating checkout pages with my application, I just manually create the checkout pages. It will fail because this checkout page was already used. So it's a very simple way to simulate the error. So I'm gonna try to buy, and then we get this message, checkout already in use. So again, this was a response sent by Rapyd, and I'm logging it here. So that's pretty much it. This is how, with the events, how you can catch some errors or some things that you need to do, and you can process them however you need to do it. And something I wanted to point out is that let me do another test, another checkout page. So let me grab this checkout page again and paste it here. Okay, so we have again another checkout page available, and what I wanted to show you is that something important is that you need to check the status of the payment. So if I click here, pay now, in this case, with this particular example, the website shows a success page, but that's just because I didn't complete that part. But you need to analyze the status of the payment, and again, you can analyze that with the event listeners. And in this case, the status is active, which means that you need to do something else, or your user needs to do something else. You are also provided a redirect URL in case you need to show, or you need to redirect your user to another website. Some payment methods require that, like for instance a bank redirect, or maybe when you need to, or your user needs to approve through the 3DS validation. So you need to analyze this status and do whatever you have to do. And for that, again, you have to use the event listeners. In this case, I got a successful payment, but I'm not analyzing here the status of the payment. So you need to do that in order to process that type of payments, and that's how you would complete this code and make it more adaptable to your use cases. I think that's all I have to show for today. The Rapyd Checkout Toolkit is one of many ways that you can quickly integrate Rapyd's powerful payment acceptance capabilities into your checkout experience. I hope that you found today's demo helpful and will start your integration today. If you have any questions, please reach out to support.rapyd.net. Thank you.